Okay, and we should be streaming. I see a live. I see red.
I see red.
I see us.
I don't know what to do about this window, dude.
Do you have blinds on it?
Yeah, and it's blind. It looks so much brighter than it is. Let me see something. I don't.
Is it bothering you? How
No,
light it? Then what do you care?
I don't know. I just feel like I look ghastly.
You just look overlit.
Overlit. Story of my life.
Yeah.
Ugh, my arms. I'm really sad about my arms. I've been doing arm workouts.
Great.
Who put the motivated mama in here? How did you do?
Me.
How did you do that?
I changed it
When?
just a second ago because Dave put these in. He wrote the one who cannot sit still as my name. And then he just had Tiff J. And I was like, that's not what it is right now. Right now, this is the motivated mama, the
That's so
boss
cute.
ass bitch, as she would say.
Boss ass bitch. You're
There
not
she-
wrong, girl. I am
Yeah.
a boss.
So there we go. So good morning and welcome to another episode of Take It or Leave It. I am one of your hosts who won't remember jack shit about this intro.
Oh my God.
My name is Meredith Masony. We're just gonna
Okay.
steamroll in today.
I'm Tiffany. What's up? We're gonna talk about everything, man. Marriage, motherhood. What's kids? What's
All
the other
the-
one?
Everything
in between. So, welcome. Dude, I had something to say, and I've been crying all morning.
Like tears?
Yeah, no blood.
Well, I don't know what you're. What are you talking about?
I listen. It started with one reel, and then my algorithm was like, "Oh, she's in her feels. Let's just pump it one reel after the other." I was so emotional but I am. I mean, I'm coming off my lady time. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it wasn't like bad tears. It was like heartwarming tears.
Oh, so you just needed some chicken soup for the soul?
I guess it felt really good to cry. And I was like, I think I'm supposed to do this sometimes. It was like burning my face like acid because I'm not used to it. But isn't that weird how our emotions do that? Like you suppress them for so long and then you watch a couple's pregnancy announcement and then it's just over. There was this couple and she woke her spouse up just holding a test, and he got up. Neither of them said a word, and he rubbed his eyes and he ran and got his glasses, and then he sat back down and looked at it, and then he looked at her, and her hand went up to her mouth, his hand went up to his mouth. Neither of them said a word. He scooted over to her in the bed, threw his legs over hers, and they hugged and just started sobbing silently. It was just silent the whole time. And it was like it reminded me of a Pixar movie. Like there was no there was no words. Their eyes and their hearts were communicating, and it was the most beautiful, underdone, you know what I mean? It was just so incredible to watch. And I was like, oh my God. Because I remember my pregnancy announcement. I was like, hey fella, this is super awkward. I don't know if you remember me, but we did it a couple weeks back. I am pregnant.
I don't know if you remember me.
It was just really sweet.
Oh my God. It was just really sweet. I mean, I hear that they're putting it into a Hallmark movie, actually. They're the Tiff J pregnancy announcement movie of the month.
Yep.
That's what I heard anyway.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. That made me cry because that was funny.
Yeah, it's been quite a morning.
So in the baby book, in Caden's baby book, where it was like, when I told your father,
I lied.
You didn't tell the truth, huh?
No, he'll learn one day, but he doesn't need to know.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Oh, that's a great opener. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That was solid.
Thanks. I didn't rehearse it. I wasn't. It's probably this new position of my desk.
So what did you go home and feng shui?
Yeah, because I needed the office to be different.
Okay.
And so I removed some things, added some things, and I'm feeling good.
All right. So why don't we you want to talk about our weekend together?
It was so romantic. I would love to. Oh, hi Dave. My favorite person. Listen, I didn't go into detail with him. All right, let me just start with this. Was it last week's podcast?
Mhm.
It's been a week already. After the podcast, usually Meredith and I just like catch up. And I was like, yeah, dude, I haven't even opened my bank account since the last time you guys were here. I don't want to know what's going on. I got so much laundry. My life is in shambles. And she's like, when are you going to come here? And I was like, probably never, honestly. And somehow she convinced me to leave my house the next day, after picking the kids up from school and head to St. Augustine and she's like, get all your laundry, put it in bags, bring all your bills that you've been too afraid to open, bring everything and just come here. And so I picked the kids up from school, loaded up the car, and took a 7-hour road trip to St. Augustine. And it was really cool because a lot of you, this might surprise some of you, but Meredith is actually like a really sweet person. She's really nice. And one of my children fell in love with her instantly. The other one hated her for a little while, but we can explain that later. But yeah, I got all my laundry done. Dave sat down with me. We went through my bank. It was so tedious and depressing, but it was like, I was thinking about it later. I'm like, this is one of those moments that I'm going to look back on and be like, it sucked so bad in the moment, but it was crucial to me getting to the best version of my life. Because if it wasn't for Dave sitting down and forcing me to do that, I probably never would have. I would have had no idea what my future looked like, what a budget was, you know what I mean? And since then, I would just like to let you know that it showed me in black and white what I'm making this year, what I'm losing this year, what I need to do. And so getting that fear out of the way really allowed me to come home yesterday, Meredith. I woke up, I sat at my frigging computer, which is something I haven't done, and I can't even tell you how long. I went on Care Credit. I set up auto payments. I paid my past due bill. I paid my HOA fee that's overdue and the attorney fee for that. I went in and saw my Capital One credit card that was like a mystery that I didn't even know that I had. I logged in and found out what that was for and set that up on an auto payment. And then I got on the phone with the water company for an hour and got my water bill sorted out. And then I went on Patreon and supporters and I scheduled the lives. And then I sent t-shirts out that were supposed to be sent out a long time ago to some winners of a contest. And at the end of the day, I was like, I accomplished more today than I have in the past 6 months. And it felt so good to lay my head on the pillow at night and not feel regret or guilt for not getting anything done. Like yesterday, I was thriving.
Dave just is listening to the podcast and he just came in and said, "Holy shit."
Yay!
Yeah. Good job, Tiff. Good job.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad he's listening
Yeah.
because it's because of him that I did it. So I'm very optimistic and hopeful. Thanks, everyone, for your sweet comments.
Well, we're really proud of you because it's what I can tell you about this situation, and I hope this comes out right because I have a tendency for it to not. So I'm
Right.
going to preface it with, I mean this in the most loving and caring way.
Okay.
I have never witnessed the pain, and I don't know if tragedy is the right word, but I feel like it is in a sense of somebody's marriage ending. I've never seen that. and watching it happen to you broke my heart for you in a way that it was just so, because I really had never seen it. And all I wanted to do was be like, how do I help put pieces back together? Because even though something is broken, it doesn't mean it's worthless, right? Like you fix things, you can help fix things. And I guess just watching you in what I would assume is, sort of a rock bottom situation in a sense. I'm not going to tell you that that's where you were. I'm just going to say, as an outsider looking in, as a friend, seeing that just hurt me so much that I, of course, want to fix and I want to help and I want to be there. But it really showed me like how devastating this can be for somebody and how it can paralyze them. And it hurt me for you. And so the fact that I never thought you'd get in the car and come this way. I never thought you were going to. And the fact that you did, and then when you were here, it was so great just being here and hanging with Chloe and, doing little girl things that I don't get to do anymore. It was so fun for me, but just the fact that you got what you needed to get out of it just made me so happy, because I don't think, if you've never gone through a divorce yourself and if you've really never personally seen somebody go through one, you have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
You have no clue. So can you empathize? Sure. But you really don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I now understand a bit more because we are close. And so I'm watching this and I'm just going, oh my gosh, like,
Mm-hmm.
what can I do? What's my skill set here? And I can bake muffins. I can do laundry. Right? But Dave's skill set was what you needed this time around. So I got to do fun stuff this time around for me. I got to do coloring and Legos and all that other shit, So
But it was also fun for me because you were watching the kids. And so in between these like very intense financial conversations, I got to nap, which was amazing. And there's so many people who say that they're going to be there for you if you ever need anything, but then there's people who insist and don't give you a choice, and that's you.
Yeah.
And as somebody who has trouble asking for help, it truly is life-changing to have someone be like, I'm not going to wait for you to ask, get in the car.
Yeah, it is hard though, because I never want to push you so far that you're going to be pissed, but you won't ask for help. So I feel like there are times where I have to really be insistent.
Yeah.
And that's a tough line, because I also don't want to close you off, because if you get closed off, I'm afraid you won't open back up. Like there's a fear for me there. So it's like, I want to push you, but I don't want to be my true hemorrhoid self. You
But
know what I mean?
I
It's
think
tough.
you're really good at reading me though. Like there's some days where I can't even process the idea of doing something like that. Like we're just talking about it makes me feel
Yeah.
nauseous. But then there's some days where I'm more receptive. And I appreciate you being willing to teeter that line and not give up, even though it might be scary for you.
No, I would never give up. But I'm just glad that I caught you on a day where you were like,
Do you know
no.
why? I was thinking about this too.
Mm.
If we planned it too far in advance, I would have time to obsess and stress and ruminate. If we planned it too short of notice, I would panic and stress about the sudden change. But the following day in the afternoon is the perfect window of time. And I realize that because it feels spontaneous and crazy. And it's just enough time to do what I need to do so that I'm prepared, but not too much time where I'm sitting around thinking of all the things that could go wrong. It was like the perfect amount of time.
Yeah, it was enough time for you to make those cute baskets for the kids, for the car, which was
Yeah.
adorable. And unfortunately, you had a bad drive over because of rain and traffic, but luckily you had a good drive home.
Oh, yeah.
So it evened out in a sense, because it is not a fun drive per se. Every time we go back that way, it is all of 5 hours, 5.5 hours for us to go further south of you. But it was a great trip. It was short. I know
Chloe.
it felt like ages, but it was short, and I know that I want to see Chloe. I mean Chloe again.
Well, you have to now. Like, that's all she keeps saying. And so for like, I think, and this is just me assuming, but Chloe has left town to go spend time with her grandfather. And then we would leave and it would be emotional. One time she went to spend time with her grandfather and left and never saw him again.
Mm.
And same thing with her aunt from out of town. And so I think she has this fear of like enjoying time with people out of town because she's afraid that she won't see them again. And so when you stepped in, when we were going to leave, Chloe was trying to hide her tears. And I had already pre-warned her, like, it's okay to be sad. Cause I could tell. I was like, if you feel like you want to cry, cry. It's okay. Emotions are good. You got to get those out. But then when it came time to leave, she was trying to hide them.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see her lip quivering and her eyes like darting back and forth. And I was like, honey. And I went to hug her and she pushed me away. And then eventually she just broke down. And Meredith saw it and like pushed me out of the way and was like, Chloe, come here. Chloe, come here. And hugged her and said, can I tell them what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. We are going to do this again and we're going to do it again soon. Do you know why? Because you're not my friends. You're my family. And family stays together, whatever you said. That was so sweet after that. And then you said, you guys are going to be back soon and we're going to find a way to make this happen all the time. And it made me emotional watching her emotional and watching you step out of your quote unquote comfort zone to be a little mushy with my baby. And it was really, and as soon as we got in the car, Caden got emotional too.
Oh.
He, of course, he'd never do it in front of you. So I had to, promise them that we'll be back. And it was just really cute to watch. And I get why they bonded with you, because you made them do different things than they would normally do. Meredith was forcing Caden to get off of his effing iPad and participate in activities and crafts and go to the store. And he was so pissed at first. And eventually he ended up enjoying it. And Chloe got to bake muffins and make cookies. And she just felt really loved. And it was really sweet. It was really sweet.
But it was, there was bribing. I did bribe him with candies and whatnot. I mean, I'm not going to say that I swooped in and like, I was bribing the children quite a bit, but for my benefit, because I liked it. I enjoyed being able to go out and have fun and do different things. And I mean, nobody's like, do you want to go to the park? None of my kids are like, take me to the park, because that would be weird, because then it would just be me with a group of teenagers at the park. And they're like, why is that mom bringing kids to do graffiti? Like, it would be weird. So it was fun. It was a good time. I mean, I thought Chloe was going to kill somebody in Publix when I let her steer the cart. I should have known better than to, because she's like, I'm going to drive the cart. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I was like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh my gosh, oh my God. I'm so sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, do you still have a foot? Ma'am, I'm so sorry. I mean, because she was just going like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
So I could tell she got pissed with me because I held the front of the cart to be like, you can push it, but I'm going to steer type thing. And she's like, Meredith, you can let that go now. And I'm like, but I can't, girl. You're riding in the fast lane. And I feel like every elderly person in here they cannot dive out of your way. And so it was so funny because like, if one of my kids asked to push the cart, they're going slower than a sloth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like pissed off that they're there. Chloe's zooming in and out like Mario Andretti.
That's so ironic, because trying to get her out the front door is like watching a snail. Like,
well, of course for you.
But the minute, sorry, everyone. Welcome to our Only Friends podcast. But you give her a grocery cart and she's Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, no. And then of course somebody just posted it in the chat over here. They said, I hope no one touched her Twix. So that was hilarious. So I let them each pick candy. And Chloe got a Twix, and on it Caden reads it to her. He goes, Chloe, this says it's the sharing size. She says, I'm not sharing anything. And I was like, ooh, damn. All right. So I was like, look, you each have your own candy. You don't have to share with each other. That's the great thing about this. You each got your own stuff. Don't share. Don't. And so we get back and Chloe was not kidding about not sharing. She got a piece of paper out and she's like, if anybody touches my Twix, I'll cut your effing throat. And then she wrote, I know how much is in here. Like a straight up gangsta.
Oh, my favorite part was she hid the written amount of how many were left under the Twix so that you would have to pick the Twix up to see. It was very
genius.
elaborate and
Evil
ridiculous.
genius. So it was a really great weekend. And I definitely slept hard.
I'm sure.
And then napped the next day, which I don't do, which totally screwed up my sleep schedule because I was like, in the middle of the afternoon, I napped for like 2.5 hours. And then I woke up and I went, oh no. And then that next night, I didn't sleep a wink because napping is for young people. I feel like napping is for young people because then you can go back to bed. I take a nap. I can't go back to bed.
Yeah, but you're built different. Napping is for older slothing people as well.
I don't know. But anyway, so I know Dave asked for a Twix and Chloe was like,
It's the kids weren't sure how to take Dave. It was so funny because there was sometimes when they would see him and he was like business, but he was like, I saw a side of Dave that I've never seen either, like being cute with the kids. It was like seeing his soft side too, I thought was so sweet. And I left one of Caden's shirts on the back patio and I meant to go back out and get it. But I told the kids, I'm like, and I left a shirt there on purpose. So we have to go back sometime.
Oh, I found it.
And they were so excited.
Yeah, I found the shirt. Yeah. So I washed that, of course. And but I'm already ready to look at the calendar and be like, okay, when do you want to do this again? How do we make this work? Because it is, I mean, we're definitely not close, but we're also not that far away that we shouldn't be able to figure out how to make it work.
Right.
It's a pain in the ass for the amount of time it takes to get to the place, but then you always have so much fun.
Yeah.
And somebody said it in the chat, and I've thought about this before, and I don't know, Dave's probably going to kill me for even bringing it up, but somebody was like, would you ever consider adopting? And I've thought about it multiple times because I always wanted a fourth. I always wanted one more, but I knew my body couldn't make another one. I mean, I could have made another one, but it was so hellish to be pregnant for me because I had so many complications that I knew after Brian, I was like, I can't do this again. Like I was on bed rest. I was medicated. I had to have a surgery every time I was pregnant. Then they had to watch me. I was in the doctor's office literally from like the moment I was 3 months pregnant, I had to have a surgery. And then I was on medication and I would have to be watched almost weekly in doctor's appointments. It was so intense. And then the fear of always losing the baby because of the complications that I had. So after Brian, I was like, I can't emotionally do this again. But then I always wanted one more. And I've thought about it time and again, like how great would it be to adopt a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, you know what I mean? But then I'm going to be honest, there's a part of me that's like, oh, I'm getting close. I'm getting close to, kids leaving.
Yeah.
Matthias is on his way. He spent all night last night filling out college applications. Sophia's in high school. Brian's halfway through middle school.
Is that why you kept saying that all weekend? You're like, I couldn't do a fourth. I kept telling Dave, I can't do a fourth because it was actually something that you were considering. Because I was wondering why you said that so many times. I'm like, nope.
I've been considering. I don't think Dave would even remotely consider it. So that's why I don't think it's a conversation at all. It's something that I've thought about, but I don't think for even a second Dave would consider it.
Well, I think that maybe just hang out with my kids a couple of times and you'll be like, you know what? Maybe I just wait for grandkids.
Yeah. Well, somebody was like, I was talking, I think in supporters, and somebody was like, you're really not that far. It feels like you're far away from grandkids. They're like, but you're really not that far away from grandkids. Cause knock on wood now, but you know what I mean? I mean, Matthias is going to be 18 this year. So let's say he has kids in his mid-20s. It's really not that far. But at the same time, it is always one of those things. I was one of 4. So I think in my head, I was like, I'll have 4. I don't know. I think when you are in a bigger family,
That makes sense.
so I think, and I didn't have them like my parents did. There wasn't a massive gap, right? So like my kids were bang, bang, bang. And then it was kind of like I just did the parenting thing and was never doing the having baby thing again. Where when I grew up, it was my brother and I, and then my mom had a baby, and then my mom had another baby, and I had babies all the time. Like I had the babies all the time. And then now I'm done.
Yeah.
And so I think there's that finality of it for me I've struggled with for years because I do love being the mom. That's my job. So I think part of me is panicked because I see that my duties are being slowly taken from me.
Yep.
And so that panics me. So I'm like, well, let me grab another kid. Like where can I get my hands on another kid so I can keep doing this thing? And
I
don't think for a second Dave would allow that.
Well, that's like I mean, it's not the same thing at all because my kids are 7 and 8, but like so we're on a 2-3 schedule. So every few days I have no children, which to all my friends who have young kids, they're like, what's it like? Like, it must be a dream. I'm contemplating divorce just so I can get a break. And like, I totally understand that mindset, but it is the weirdest, at times most depressing, at times most exciting thing. Like, there's moments where I'm like, I'm sitting here in silence, bitch. I'm eating Taco Bell on my couch, which I could never do before. Like, I'm just whatever. But then most of the time, I'm just like, who am I when I'm not a mom? Like, who the F am I when I don't have someone to care for? And this is going to sound really creepy, but I think that's really why I clung to the guys in their podcast because I was like, I got to fill that mom role with them. And it was very selfish of me. It helped them, but also more so, it was like having people to take care of and people to help. And there's like this feeling that you get when you know that something that you are doing is making a difference in someone's life, even if they can't see it yet. Like our kids, we do that all the time. We make these decisions and do these things and they don't know why we're doing it, but we know it's going to help them. And that's how I felt constantly with the podcast. And it was like a very unhealthy coping mechanism. But it was mutually beneficial. Anyway, so now I'm taking a step back so that they could do it themselves. And now once again, I'm back to like, who am I when I don't have somebody to care for and help? And so I went live yesterday and I was like, what do you guys do when you're bored? Like honestly, what do people, because I haven't been bored since 2012.
Right.
Probably before that, when I was in jail was the last time I was bored. And my favorite suggestion was find a place to volunteer. And that would totally scratch that itch for me of helping somebody with not getting anything in return. You know what I mean? Like that would be, that's why you've considered recovery counseling. Yeah. Sorry, somebody just wrote that. But as you feel those things slowly being taken away from you, I also can relate because there's certain days of the week where I'm quote unquote not a mom. I have the house to myself. I could hop in the car and go wherever I want and do whatever I want. And I don't know where to go or what to do. It's weird.
Yeah. I can tell you what to do if you want.
Yeah, but if it involves boring stuff, I don't want to hear it.
Oh, never mind. Then I'm out.
Yeah, if it involves like cleaning or like responsible things.
Right.
I just posted on my Facebook. I'm like, hey, sober friends, what do you guys do on the weekends that's fun? Because I usually just sit at home on the weekends and I want to meet people and do things.
Oh, maybe you should be in a bowling league.
Do you want to get smacked up?
I mean, you were so good.
Listen, it was the balls.
Okay.
The balls were broken.
Everybody had a problem. The balls weren't bally enough. The lane was unlevel. Everybody had a problem except the winner, which is this guy right here. This guy right here.
You did. You whooped us, dude. That was impressive.
Whooped up.
Yeah. So maybe volunteering. Maybe I'm going to volunteer.
I like that idea. I think
Anyway, I
it's a good
stole your
idea.
thunder and made it about me. You were talking about your struggles with parenthood, and I'm like, tell me about it. Listen to my problems. Sorry about that.
No, well, that's what this podcast is about. Ding dong.
You just called me a ding dong.
Yeah.
You're such a fossil.
Yeah, I am. I said something the other day, and after I said it, I was like, "Oh, Tiffany would have really made fun of that." And I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was one of my circle the wagon things. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not exactly sure what I said, but I was like, "Oh, that was from 1847." Tiffany would
one
have.
of your Meredithisms.
Yeah, Tiffany would have really had a heyday with that one. Even that heyday.
Heyday. Yeah. What?
Who
You,
says that shit?
I just want to let everyone know, not that everyone has a treadmill. I'm sure most people don't. But they have playlists on Spotify and also influencers on TikTok that create strut playlists.
Okay.
And you put the songs in an album in a specific order and you strut to the beat of the song. And each new song has a new beat and it gets quicker and harder and faster.
Oh.
Girl, the other night, I made a strut playlist from this influencer who suggested it. And it was an artist you would never even think of. Noah Can. He sings my favorite kind of like indie folk type music. I was strutting on the treadmill and screaming and throwing my arms around like I was in a music video, bitch. It was the most magical experience. And before I knew it, 45 minutes was up. I was covered in sweat and I felt like the main effing character in a movie. It was magical and I cannot suggest it enough. If anybody hates moving their body around, find this chick. Dang. Just Google treadmill strut on TikTok and she'll pop up.
What?
Listen, it makes me want to move. And I think about it like right now, I can't wait to make another playlist and do it. The Taylor Swift ones. What's going on?
Oh, so Dave was like, and she went on the treadmill. He's like, I can't believe this. Who is this
Did
girl?
you not show him my story? I tagged you in it.
I didn't see it.
You son of a biscuit.
I'll go back. Oh, it's probably expired now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I tagged you and said, tell Dave I did it. It was the very next day at 11:08 at night. I went on the treadmill.
So I did. I just went into, so for those of you that want to do this, I checked it to see that it would work. If you go into Spotify and you just type in treadmill strut mix comes up. And then they've made me one already because they must go through your music and decide. So like there's Taylor Swift, Lizzo, ABBA, which of course would be my type of jam.
That's embarrassing. So what I will say though,
RuPaul is in here. Is it still?
It's not surprising. You just have the most eclectic taste, which I looked in Spotify and some of them were okay. But the reason that I like the girl on TikTok, I'll see if I can find her or Instagram. Maybe you could look her up while I'm talking. Just type in treadmill strut playlist. She does it all from one artist and it is timed, like actually. And she tells you like, do it to Taylor Swift Bejeweled, set the treadmill to 3.1 if you're this height or whatever. Like you look for your height because obviously longer.
Here she is at, okay, hold on. Allie Bennett.
I think that's her.
Is that her name?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll show you
Find your pace. It says how it works. Find your pace to death by 1,000 cuts, then add 0.1 mph each time the song changes. Do not put this playlist on shuffle. So she's telling you exactly what to do.
Yeah, that's why you can't put it on shuffle because it's like it's timed.
Got it.
Yeah. And
this is a Taylor Swift strut workout. So she's telling you in these videos, here's a 40-minute treadmill strut, and the playlist is Getaway Car, Escapism. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah. And if you don't have a treadmill or TikTok, you can find it anywhere. You just Google it. Somebody said, I'll strut too. It's time for the percolator. Have you heard that?
You could do this outside. If you don't have a treadmill, just walk.
Yeah. But you walk to the beat.
Right. Walk to the beat. Yeah. I like it.
And this is the one that I did. It starts off slow. It hurts when you hurt somebody. And it's all timed. I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun.
I'm going to do that on my walk later today. I'm
Yeah.
going to put a strut on. You know, I'm going to be Taylor Swift.
Is it?
Well, that's what I'm going to do because I normally listen to Taylor when I walk or podcast. I do listen to a lot of murder when I walk, which is scary because anytime a squirrel jumps in a tree, I'm like, ah! Because so I'm listening to murder. And then I turn around and I'm like, oh, it's just a squirrel.
Why would you listen to true crime podcasts while walking alone, Meredith?
Well, I have the dog usually, but the dog jumps just as high as I do. She's a scaredy cat. So, but it is tough because I'll be walking and all of a sudden I'm like, I know somebody is following me, but they're not because it's the middle of the day. And, you know, but I'm like, I'm sure somebody's going to kill me.
That's hilarious. You know what I think is also really helpful is your mindset at the time. Like I'm in a revenge, you know, like villain. I'm going to show everyone era. So I put on songs that are like, you had the best bitch and you lost it. Go with your other host. You know what I mean?
Go with your other.
I hope you're happy.
You piece of shit.
It makes it so much easier to anger walk. Is it a squirrel?
No. Ruth. I mean,
somebody, Haley said, I think true crime would make me walk so fast.
Yeah.
Like you're running from a murder.
Yeah, but I do. And then I'll see the squirrel out of the corner of my eye and I'll be like, I'm positive he had a knife. I'm positive he had a knife. Like he was coming for me. His beady eyes. I saw him.
There's no way I could do that.
But I do. And Dave literally was the other night, the kids were like, I turned the TV on. And they were like, what do you want to watch? And literally everything in there was Meet, Marry, Murder, Deadly Wives, Women Who Murder, Monstresses, like you name it. And Brian is like, Mom, you really have a problem. And I was like, what? It's the TV I like. You like TV. I like TV. It's just we like different things. And he's like, no, you like watching people get murdered. And I was like, no, that's not why. And Dave's like, so are you going to tell me when you're going to kill me or is it going to just be a surprise? And I was like, well, what's the fun if it isn't a surprise? Like,
that's so funny. I know. How do you explain that to your kids?
But they do. They're like, Mom, you have to stop watching this stuff. And I'm like, I just like a mystery, guys.
I like it for the plot,
which is always murder.
Your kids are so great, Meredith.
Oh, thank you.
One of them's a little spicy, but most of them, they're just angels. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding, but they really are.
Spicy, all right.
I'm not naming names.
We know who you're talking about.
But they're so well behaved and so polite and self-sufficient. Like her kids, just so everybody knows, thought of accommodating things before I thought of them without being told. So I was just talking to like the kids about blowing up the mattress or something. And Brian jumped up and was like, I'll blow it up for you. And just doot, 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 right up the stairs. And then somebody else, I don't remember. And Matthias too, he did the same things. He's like, do you need anything? I'm like, who are you people? Like, that's so sweet. My kids are younger, so I'm not going to talk shit about them. But I realized that you do a really great job of having them do things for themselves so that when they get older and move out, they're not screwed. And it really inspired me because I do everything for my kids, mainly because it's easier for me, but it's really going to hurt them in the long run. And I was just so impressed by your children. You're doing a freaking amazing job, dude.
Well, thank you. I mean, they're twice your kid's age. So there is, you know what I mean? Like I remember doing literally everything because it was easier for me, but you're coming up to a spot when 9, 10, 11, that is going to start happening and they're going to be able to struggle less and do more. And it's just implementing those things.
Yeah, I feel it.
But, you know, like I still fix everybody's plate at dinner. You know what I mean? Like, there are things that I still do for them because I enjoy it. Because Dave's always like, "Stop fixing their plates. This kid is gonna be paying his rent in a year." And I'm like, "But I like fixing their plates. This is one small thing that I do in the day where I say, "Okay, do you want, the gravy over the noodles or you want it on the side?" Or
I get
it's
it.
one small thing that I do. So when he tells me, "Stop doing that," I'm like, "Mind your fucking business. Imma fix a plate. That's
I get
my
it.
job in this moment that I want to do." It's not like when they leave the house, they won't be able to fix their own dinner plate,
It's
right?
just for you.
Yeah, it's just for me. So there are things that I do that are just for me with the kids. And then, of course, like I make them get up and do their own shit when it's, you know,
Brian, we were sitting on the couch and he's like, "Oh, do you guys need towels for upstairs?" And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now? You are an angel."
well, I had reminded him to bring them up before you arrived and he forgot. So then he was like, "Oh, I forgot to put up towels." So he's probably like, "Let me cover these tracks." "Oh, do you guys mint for your pillow? What can I do for
That's
you?"
so
But
funny.
he did clean the whole upstairs
He's an
and get
angel.
the mattresses ready, and after I washed everything, he made the beds and did all of that. Now, after getting torn up on the internet for my shitty air mattresses, I will be purchasing a new set.
Don't you dare, dude.
But that's literally because you know what they did when you left? Him and his friend went upstairs and jumped on the wonky one. And I was like, "This is why we can't have nice things. Could you invite your friends over for a trampoline party on my damn air mattresses?"
The kids loved the air mattresses. It was the best night's sleep they've ever had. They said they felt like a little worm in a cocoon.
Right. Well,
I have old lady bones.
yeah, you can't be doing that.
And
But
every
anyway.
time I turned, Kaden went flying out the guest bedroom window. And I had to keep going downstairs to carry him back up.
Well, I forgot too that we don't have blinds on that window.
Oh, that was helpful to
And
us.
I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, in the morning, I was like, "That sun is probably coming right into her retina." Because nobody sleeps up there. So we never
Right.
even thought like about blinds because
Of
it's just got
course.
the ping pong table and the pool table or whatever. It's not like people are getting naked up there. And then I was like, "Oh crap." I
No,
never thought about it.
it was fine. It helped us get, if it was dark in there, I would have slept all day, Meredith.
Yeah, well,
So it
I
was
wouldn't have
good.
I wouldn't have allowed it,
I
obviously. I would
know.
have been up there. "Hello, morning," with my annoyingness, but yeah, so it was a good trip. It was a lot of fun, and, we definitely have to look at the calendar and do it again.
Mhm.
Um, so tell me if you think this is funny or
Oh
not,
god. Is
because
it
I
a
didn't think it was funny.
okay.
So my birthday was Tuesday,
Mhm.
and so Tuesday morning comes, and I wake up.
Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you. And I wake up and Dave comes out of the bathroom and he says, "Good morning." And he leaves. And I went, it's, it's odd. Okay, I'm going to let that go. Then I walk out. I see the kids. I see Sophia. I see Matthias. "Good morning. Good morning." "All right, mom, we love you. Got to go to school. Bye." Nothing. Nothing. Okay. All right. So then about an hour later, Brian wakes up and he comes out. Dave's standing in the kitchen and I'm just staring at him. I'm staring a blazing laser fire hole into his face.
Mm.
And I'm looking at him and he's like, "What? What? What?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And he's like, "Okay, calm down. I know what day it is. I just was pretending to not know so that I could surprise you later to take you out." I was like, "Do you really think that pretending to forget my birthday is going to get you anything other than on one of those murdered shows? Like, why would you
Mm.
pretend that? Like, why is that? Just say happy birthday."
Right.
Is that
I
funny? Because he's like, "It's funny." And I'm like, "It's not funny."
I think that there's a time limit. Like, for pretending to forget about it for a few minutes and then walking back into the room with, like, flowers and chocolate, it's enough time for you to, like, be like, "Oh, this is so sad. Oh my gosh, of course they didn't forget." But to have it go all day.
Well, that was like an hour and a half.
Yeah, but if he was going to pretend until the time he took you out.
Oh, yeah, that would have been all day. I was pissy. So then Brian wakes up and he's like, after I stare at the death stare at him, he's like, "Oh, happy birthday." Like a question, like, "Is that what this is?"
Mm.
And Dave is just texting in here. I had reservations to go to take her to the melting pot. She canceled them and we ate Chinese on the couch instead.
What?
And that's true because I was tired. It had been a long day. He was like, it's just you and I, not the kids, because it's an expensive restaurant. So we weren't going to take the kids with us. And I was like, I don't want to go out on my birthday without the kids. So I was like, let's just get Chinese food so I don't have to cook. We'll sit on the couch. We'll watch a movie. And then, you can take me to the melting pot when
On
it's
an anniversary.
on a weekend or something, but like not to like it was my birthday. So I didn't want to like not go out with the kids.
I understand.
So Dave must have texted the kids after they left and said, did neither of you say happy birthday to your mother?
Oh, they weren't in on it?
No, they forgot. So on the way home, Matthias stops and he gets me this card. It says, happy birthday, great grandma. And on the inside, it says, every moment with you is a moment to treasure. Every story you tell is one to remember. Every hug you give is filled with love. I love you so much, Mom, and I can't believe this is my last year living at home. I know this is going to be the best year yet. I just wanted to tell you how special you are to me, and also thank you for staying home for my last year.
I saw.
How sweet.
I know.
And Dave was like, "Ew, what? Of course he's your favorite." And I was like, he is the only one who got me a great grandma card.
Mm.
And so
I thought the kids were in on it. What a bunch of buttholes.
No, they forgot. So I was like, but it really didn't, it bothered me that he didn't say happy birthday to me in the morning, but the other stuff I don't care about. Like, I didn't care about going out to eat. I didn't care about anything because it's just, it really is just another day.
No, it's a very special day. It's the day that the earth was blessed with your presence.
I don't know. Birthdays to me are just kind of like, Meh.
No, not me, bitch.
Yeah.
My birthday, listen.
National holiday.
Okay. Here, I think that now it's not really going to be the same issue that I've had in the past, but I kind of came to a point where I expected to not feel like a queen. And not just because my son chose to be born on the same day and now my birthdays are all Pokemon and
right
Bluey, but like my pattern is going for people who are reserved and don't like make big grand gestures. And so, my spouse was never a grand gesture kind of person. And so, I feel like not because of him, but just birthdays are a great way to feel disappointed if things don't go the way you fantasize about them. I think you have these expectations.
Yeah.
And then, I know it's not for everybody. Some people have wonderful birthdays, but I'm always like, wish people loved me enough to set fireworks off or something. Is that too much to ask, really? But from now on, I'm making my own birthdays. I've decided not to wait for other people to make them special. I'm going to make them so mother effing special that I know I'm going to be happy. And I've already made plans for this year.
Great. Can you tell us what they are? Are they secret plans?
I could tell you many of them, but not one of them.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know one of them.
Oh, okay. Got it.
My birthday gift.
Yep. Got it.
But yeah, I have an entire day at the spa, head to toe. They do actual head spas where there's like a water fountain on your head and a special magical little brush.
Stop.
Swear. And it's 2 hours away. And I was like, I'm going because it's my birthday.
Wait a minute. Where is it? And can I get a reservation next to you?
You don't play with me. It's Castleberry. Listen, we can make an event out of it. I will book hotels.
Where is it?
I don't know where Castleberry is. All I know is it's 2 hours away.
Okay. So after this call, we're getting on there and then we're getting a hotel and then we're doing this.
Don't play with me.
I'm not. What? Near Orlando. I'm in. Dave already looked it up.
Dave's the best. I need an assistant.
Yes.
But yeah. And then I am going to a restaurant. It's so funny that you say that because I've never been to the Melting Pot and I'm going alone. And I already have reservations. I didn't want to steal your thunder twice in this podcast, so I was going to not even mention it. Yeah. And then I am doing nothing, absolutely nothing. Dave's not going to like this part, but I'm spending $20 on a bundle on Candy Crush, and I'm going to lay on my couch with cheesecake and play Candy Crush.
But we could do that in a hotel in Orlando.
Yeah. Well, my plan was to drive home, but I would love to just stay in a hotel.
Well, as soon as we're done here, we will be looking things over.
Okay.
Sounds like a great way to spend your birthday.
Haley said, "What's a queen without a king? Historically more powerful."
Yes, that is
true.
It. That is, in fact, historically accurate.
I will burn it down, dude.
Ooh, all right. Well, now you went to evil witch instead.
I know. I felt like an evil queen.
Suddenly. I will burn it to the ground. All right.
As soon as I read that, I felt so powerful. I will kill this whole town.
So then you just thought, let's burn the peasants. Let's burn the peasants to the
ground. Don't know what I thought. I blacked out.
Oh my God. All the power, the rage and the power went straight to your head in 0.001 seconds.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So funny. I'm excited.
Well, that's great. I'm so glad that that's what you're doing.
Thank you.
So yeah, well, I mean, this was a fun
Did you have something planned for today?
No, actually I didn't, because I figured we'd talk about the trip.
Okay, perfect.
That's what I assumed, because I made myself a really massive list of things that I had to do today because I forgot that I have to go somewhere. So everything is getting shifted to tomorrow. Yeah. But I have to get better about planning my weeks so that we do have, just in case, these backup topics. And I have to be better about it.
This is a 2-person podcast. I don't know if you know who I am, but I'm the motivated mama. So
sorry.
If you need help with topics, let me know, because I do things now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I guess it would still obviously be relevant. Maybe not as timely, but I think maybe next time, I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but did you read about the 8-passenger?
Yeah. By the time that comes out, though, it'll be old news.
Yeah.
You got to get on it as soon as it happens.
Yeah. But that story, so sad.
I'm not surprised, dude.
No.
She was in the news a while back because she took her kids' beds away.
She was. She's definitely made some choices. But and I'm telling you right now, mark my words, mark this podcast.
And I am telling you,
listen,
right now,
they're going to do some Hulu or Prime or whatever documentary about this, because the weirdest part of this whole thing, for those of you that haven't followed this at all, you can just Google it. Just Google 8-passenger arrest, and it's going to be the first thing that comes up. This mom who has 6 kids and used to do this big time family YouTube channel has been arrested along with her business partner for child neglect and abuse. And the weirdest part of this is, after her and the husband split and she became partners with this other woman, they created some mom motivational like podcast blog together. And so they're telling other women how to parent and motivate them. And they were both arrested for child abuse and neglect. And it feels very culty, what they've created on the separate page. I'm telling you, they're going to make some documentary about this and about the follower. It looks and feels, and when you listen to it, it's very culty.
Really?
Yeah. Because I went over to their Instagram and I was like, what are they doing? And they're talking about parenting, but it's very weird. It's a very, very weird. I'm trying to remember.
I'll have to check it out. I'm going to have to change my name on here, Meredith.
No.
You named me after their podcast?
No. 8-passenger arrest. Ruby Frank is the woman who was arrested. And her business partner, it's Connections, Connextions. Connections.
It's got an X in it. It is a cult.
It's super culty. And so I think they're going to make one of those like docudramas or whatever about it, because there has to be more behind this, because this connections thing was very strange. And the rumor is that the business partner was brainwashing the mom after the divorce, during the divorce and after the divorce. But it's weird. The whole thing is weird. Jody Hildebrandt is the business partner. Ruby Frank is the mom of 8 passengers. And it's everywhere. Business Insider, NBC News, ABC News. It's all over the place. Their YouTube channel is down, but I don't know if the Instagram is.
Oh, it's down. Did
Yeah,
they take
the
it
YouTube
down?
was taken down. I don't know who took it down. Let me go to the.
I never even heard of Jody Hildebrandt, like in the reports or anything. But it's interesting because all these clips are coming out of questionable moments in that vlog or whatever.
I don't see it anymore on Instagram. It may be down on Instagram too. It was still up the other day. But anyway, so very weird, very sad situation for these kids.
Yeah. Those people got canceled a couple of years ago. I forget their names, but they were a family where they would like torture their kids for pranks.
Oh, the
5.
Yeah, they had a whole Dateline about them. That was so sad.
Those parents were arrested too.
Oh yeah, they were terrible.
It's so sad. That's why I quit vlogging, because I was like, my shit's so boring. I'm gonna have to get real extreme, like if I want it, and I don't want to get extreme, so I'm just gonna quit.
No, that was not even. That was, I mean, just crazy. But the whole thing was just crazy. The story in general. So I know that they're gonna do some sort of a show on it and talk about it, because I do feel like they went way out there with the connection stuff. With
that is weird.
Very cult-esque.
It makes you think that more is definitely going to be revealed. And I hope those freaking kids from that one family, I mean, I'm sure like this family too, but that one family who got arrested, I saw a video of them pranking this kid by thinking he was in huge freaking trouble for spilling ink on the ground. And it broke my effing heart. It was invisible ink, and they were blaming him, and he knew he didn't do it. And his face was so red and he was sobbing, and it was so sad. And anyway, my point is, there's so many families on YouTube who do the craziest stuff for views and clicks and popularity, and it's all so fake.
Yeah.
And at the kids' expense most of the time.
And the kids are going to have real, all of this shit is fake, but the consequences are real.
Yeah.
And they're going to last for a lifetime, like some of the stuff that they do.
100%.
But so this is the last thing that I'll say. So Caden was mad at me because we were sitting on the couch and I wouldn't let him have his iPad, but he was like, "Can I watch TV?" And I was like, "Yeah, we can have the TV on," because I think I was folding laundry or whatever. And of course I was like, "What do you want to watch?" And he's like, "YouTube." And I'm like, "You loophole son of a bitch." So I was like, "Yeah, I have YouTube on the TV because Brian watches it." Right. So I was like, "Okay." And I was sitting there thinking to myself, well, I mean, these YouTube shows are like shows on the TV. What's the difference? It's fine. Whatever. So I was like, "What do you want to watch?" And he's like, "Mr. Beast." And I was like, "I fucking hate Mr. Beast." So I was like, "Fine." So I put it on. And it was in that moment that I realized why I hate Mr. Beast so much.
Do tell.
All he does is destroy shit.
Mm.
He destroys, blows up things that are perfectly good just to get views. I watched him destroy a Lamborghini, a brand new Lamborghini. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, the amount of money it cost to purchase said Lamborghini and then just destroy it. You could have fed a small country for a friggin' month. You could have fed children, purchased them medicine, and revamped an entire village in the sub-Saharan Africa. But instead, you bought a Lamborghini and trashed it for views. And that's the stuff that pisses me off about YouTube. Because
he does do a lot of good.
And then Brian jumped right into his defense and said, "Do you know how much Mr. Beast donates to charity?" And I was like, no. And he's like, well, he does a lot of good and you're just being a hater. And I was like, yeah, I am being a hater because I hate it. And so then we're having like fisticuffs in the living room and Caden is like, you're ruining the show. You're ruining it. And I'm like, Caden, stop it. This is stupid. This is trash TV. And he's like, you're ruining it. So then we had this whole brawl over Mr. Beast. And then Brian was like, do you know he's being sued for Mr. Beast Burger because he stopped doing business because I guess he has ghost kitchens. That's how he was doing his Mr. Beast Burger was with ghost kitchens.
How do you hire ghosts?
So it basically just means there's no Mr. Beast Burger building. They would go into other kitchens as a ghost operation and serve the food up for DoorDash and delivery. So we actually got Brian a Mr. Beast Burger for his birthday last year because that's what he wanted. Let me tell you, it was a $30 hamburger that we had to go and pick up, and it was made in the kitchen of a Red Robin restaurant.
Shut up.
And when Brian ate it, he was like, it's not very good. And so I was like, great. We drove 45 minutes to get a $30 hamburger, and it was shit. And I guess Mr. Beast broke ties because he realized he was getting a lot of bad customer reviews and it was overcharged and all of this. So it was just like, I guess there's some legal battle now or whatever, but the guy has more money than probably, I swear to God, Bill Gates at this point.
Yeah.
So, but I was just like on my soapbox, like, this is why I don't like Mr. Beast because he is ruining things and he is trashing things and da-da-da-da. And the kids are like, we don't care. We just want to watch him blow up this Lamborghini and peace, lady.
There's nothing you could say at this point.
No. Yeah. And see, somebody just said our local Big Boy has Mr. Beast burgers. Our local Red Robin has them. Yeah. So it's all they're just ghost kitchens.
So I did not even know that was a thing, dude.
Yeah. Influencers are the ones that are doing that, to grow their brand or whatever.
That's crazy.
Are you taking notes? Okay. Tiffany's falafels will be sold out of
Tiffany's tacos.
Tiffany's tacos. There you go. Yeah.
Oh,
but anyway, so all right. One side note for those of you that are listening to this, I'm going to shamelessly plug my new Substack. So if you want to come over and join and subscribe, you can find me over on Substack at Filter Free Parents with Meredith Masony. I have started a newsletter and solo podcast over there that talks about lots of recipes, crock pot meals, one sheet pan meals, parenting stuff, pretty much anything about getting organized throughout your day, talk about my workouts, talk about all sorts of stuff over there that Tiffany doesn't want to talk about. So it's basically just a whole bunch of, let's call it a potpourri of parenting, if you will.
I don't know if I'd choose that language. Okay. But that's one of those things that I would definitely need because you know your stuff, dude, and you're so great at explaining things. So I can't wait. Mostly the food is what I'm excited about.
Yeah, recipes, easy peasy recipes for a family for weeknights stuff.
Is it an app or what? How does it work?
Substack is an app, but you can just search it up and then put my name in there, and you'll find me. We launched yesterday and I was blown away. We already had, I think this morning when I checked, around 12,000 subscribers, 1,200 subscribers.
Oh, I was like, bitch.
Yeah, I was like, I wish.
We're rich.
1,200 free subscribers. And then, of course, we did get some paid, but, the difference is it's $5 a month for all of the extras, like the extra recipes and the podcasts and stuff like that. But you can be a free subscriber where you're getting a newsletter, the discussion thread, and one recipe a week. So if you feel like it's worth the $5, you do get the extra podcast and the extra recipes. So, but it's just another way for us to connect. And the nice thing about it is you don't have to be notified because it comes straight to your inbox. So you don't have to look for it. It's coming straight to you, which is the problem that I have with Facebook and Instagram and whatnot. You don't get notified. So you don't have to look for it. It's coming straight to your inbox.
1,200 is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm really looking forward to it because it is a place where I get to talk about Tiffany's taking more notes. It's a place that I get to talk about some of the stuff that I find interesting, that I hope others find interesting. I know you don't want to sit here and talk about recipes.
So if I was going to read recipes from anyone, though, it would be you, because I like you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So the Substack is called Filter Free Parents with Meredith Masony. So you can find me over there. But of course, you can always find us here on anything, anywhere you listen to your podcasts: Apple Play, Google Music, Shindig Fadings,
I love
Lang-a-langs, Podbean, Castbox, iHeartRadio. And make sure when you do go, you leave us a 5-star review, because those are the only ones that we accept. But you guys have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time on another episode of Take It
or Leave It, an advice-ish podcast for parents. Did we just switch? I never say
We don't know. It doesn't matter.
Hosted by 2 struggling moms
who have no idea
what we're doing.
We'll see you guys next time.
Love you.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye, friends.
All right, and stream.